This is the story of how an 11-year marriage built on childhood love crumbled in a single conversation, and how TMZ just revealed the identity of the woman at the center of it all. Desmond and Kristy Scott went from being sweethearts who started dating at 14 to content creation powerhouses, only to have their world implode when Desmond allegedly delivered the most brutal news possible during what should have been the holiday season. Let me tell you exactly what went down and why the internet is now coming for a 24-year-old Houston model named Marissa Springer. If you've been following the Scott family drama, you know that Kristy Scott filed for divorce from Desmond, citing infidelity. But what you might not know is just how devastating the way she found out really was. According to sources close to the situation, Desmond didn't just tell Kristy about wanting a separation. He allegedly told her about both the separation and his infidelity in the exact same conversation around December 1st. Picture this scenario for a moment. You're married to your childhood sweetheart, someone you've been with since you were literally 14 years old. You've built a life together, a brand together. You've just bought a new house together in Harris County, Texas. And then, during what's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, your husband sits you down and basically says, "I'm not happy. I'm seeing somebody else, and we need to get divorced." That's allegedly exactly what happened to Kristy Scott. Sources claim that Desmond's brutal last words to her were essentially that he wasn't happy. He was seeing someone else, and they needed to separate. Can you imagine the whiplash of receiving that kind of information all at once? Not only is your marriage over, but it's been over for who knows how long, and there's another woman involved. But here's where this story takes an even more shocking turn. TMZ just dropped a bombshell that has the internet absolutely losing their minds. They've officially identified the mystery woman who was caught making out with Desmond Scott in a video that surfaced just 2 days after Kristy filed for divorce. Her name is Marissa Springer. She's 24 years old. She's a Houston model, and she's currently working on her MBA. Now, according to TMZ's sources, Marissa and Desmond met that night through a mutual friend who introduced them. The sources claim that Marissa knew absolutely nothing about Desmond's online presence or his fame, and that it was her understanding that he was single at the time. But here's what's really interesting about this whole situation. If you look at their social media now, Marissa and Desmond don't follow each other on Instagram or TikTok. That's a pretty telling detail, don't you think? The internet detectives wasted absolutely no time tracking down Marissa's social media accounts. And let me tell you, they are not being kind. Her comment sections are getting absolutely obliterated. People are asking her directly, "So you mess with married men?" Others are telling her to just turn off her comments because the heat is too intense. She's apparently deleting comments left and right, trying to manage the situation. One commenter wrote, "No way I'd want a man that's freshly in the divorce process. All the men in the damn world. Come on now." Another asked, "Did you really not know he was married?" These are the kinds of questions that Marissa is probably never going to be able to fully escape from now that she's been publicly identified. But here's where I want to pump the brakes for a second. While it's natural for people to be upset about this situation, especially fans of Kristy who have been watching her journey for years, we need to consider what TMZ is reporting. If Marissa truly didn't know about Desmond's online presence, if she truly believed he was single, then is she really the villain in this story? Think about it from her perspective for a moment. You're a 24-year-old woman working on your MBA. A mutual friend introduces you to a guy at a social event. He seems charming. He doesn't mention being married or going through a divorce, and you hit it off. You have no idea that this person has hundreds of thousands of followers online, that he's part of a content creation empire, or that his wife just filed for divorce citing infidelity. From Marissa's alleged perspective, she was just meeting a single guy through friends. She had no reason to suspect that getting involved with him would make her the target of internet harassment, or that she'd become a central figure in a very public divorce drama. But let's be real here. The timing of everything is incredibly suspicious. How do you go from allegedly telling your wife about infidelity and wanting a divorce to making out with someone new just 2 days later? That suggests a level of emotional detachment that's pretty staggering. What makes this even more complex is the alleged backstory of Desmond and Kristy's relationship problems. According to sources cited in various commentary videos, there might have been deeper issues at play. Some claim that Desmond was allegedly jealous of Kristy's success, particularly the brand deals she was receiving. There are allegations that he wanted to start his own cooking channel and was motivated by the business opportunities he saw Kristy getting. Think about how that would feel from Kristy's perspective. You've been with someone since you were 14, you've built a successful brand together, and then you find out that not only has your husband been unfaithful, but he might have been harboring resentment about your success this entire time. That would make the betrayal feel so much deeper than just infidelity. It would feel like your entire relationship had been built on false premises. The sources also suggest that Desmond allegedly wanted to leave once he had enough followers and endorsements for his own channel. If that's true, it paints a picture of someone who is potentially using the joint brand as a stepping stone to his own independence. all while carrying on an affair behind his wife's back. But here's what's really heartbreaking about this whole situation. According to the commentary, Kristy allegedly felt like she had given Desmond all her love, all her devotion, and all her respect since she was 14 years old. She was committed to building a family together, to making their marriage work. But when faced with the infidelity, she chose to end the marriage rather than try to reconcile. That takes incredible strength. A lot of people in Kristy's position might have tried to work things out, might have given him another chance, especially after 11 years of marriage and building a life together. But sometimes the betrayal is so deep, so fundamental, that there's just no coming back from it. Desmond did eventually release an apology statement where he allegedly said, "Kristy and I faced challenges and made sincere efforts to work through them, directly and personally, and ultimately we decided to divorce. I asked for privacy and compassion as we navigate this difficult chapter in our lives." But notice how clinical and removed that statement sounds? It doesn't really acknowledge the pain he caused or take full responsibility for his actions. What's particularly interesting is how quickly this whole situation became public. In the age of social media, there's really no such thing as a private divorce when you're content creators with hundreds of thousands of followers. Every detail gets scrutinized, every new development gets dissected by internet commentators, and innocent people like Marissa Springer get caught in the crossfire. The fact that someone was filming when Desmond was with Marissa just 2 days after the divorce filing suggests that people were already watching his movements pretty closely. That video becoming public essentially forced this entire story into the spotlight and made Marissa's identity a matter of public interest. Now she's dealing with harassment in her comment sections, people questioning her integrity, and having her personal life dissected by strangers on the internet. Even if she truly was innocent in all of this, she's now permanently linked to this drama. And that brings us to a bigger question about accountability in these situations. Should Marissa be getting the same level of blame as Desmond? If the TMZ reporting is accurate and she genuinely didn't know he was married or going through a divorce, then isn't Desmond the only one who had all the information and made the choice to be deceptive?